invited to talk to you as a writer. And I made sure the invitation of Q Conference was really addressed to me personally and not to my computer. I'm dealing a lot with history, and I'm writing a lot about the Romantic age. But my approach to creativity is neither nostalgic nor romantic. No. My belief in the human brain and the human soul as an unchallenged center of creativity seems to me to be very, very realistic. Yes, of course, it is utterly exciting how exponential the learning curve of AI is. And the education of Siri and Alexa seem to me much more easier than the education of my two own kids. Because the machines could be fed with all the informations of any field humankind has produced so far. Machines do not forget. Machines are never tired. Machines are able to adopt and combine trillions of data without any lunch break. They need a fraction of seconds for learning, which would take us some years. Of course, AI is already much better in adopting and reproducing, in combining given information than anybody of us. But I believe we are much better in inventing, in creating new random thoughts, finding new metaphors to describe the world around us. What do these machines in their server farms in California and Iceland know about the contemporary world? I have written 2 books dealing with the generation, my own generation, and with the year 1913. And in both cases, I had to do a lot of research, of reading, and bringing together a big amount of information. Would a machine be faster in researching and compiling all these informations? Of course it would. But I think I'm not only writing with the 26 letters of the alphabet. I am writing with using my 6 or so senses. Would an AI ever be able to bring back to my mind the smell of cut grass in my childhood in a provincial town? Or the ugly feeling when I was walking over a naked snake with bare feet? The restlessness in the morning when I had to realize that I had forgotten to do the homework for school? Or the feeling of loneliness on a long, long, long Sunday afternoon? Do algorithms ever suffer Do they feel love or joy or lust? I doubt it. I'm pretty sure that my words are written in such a crazy combination of emotions and thoughts that no algorithm would ever be able to match. Of course, algorithms are very important. Of course, they are very clever, but they are not human. So perhaps creativity could be the last safe haven of the uniqueness of the human beings. Of course, we will never be able to compete with computers in terms of data and in terms of speed. And they even have not to deal with any questions of work-life balance. But I still feel very secure because my books and the books of all the other non-fiction writers are only based on data. A machine would have created 100,000 more useless informations without any filter. So I feel very secure. Staring in my laptop at a white, empty page in the early morning shows me that the machine still needs me and not vice versa. Human brains have the ability to generate ideas in a true creative fashion because our brains are imperfect. They are non-deterministic. And because they are analog. We forget, we mix up, we exaggerate, we pretend. We are very unreliable. Thank God. We are very unreliable and we are aware of that. Will a machine ever develop this level of consciousness? Of course not. I was invited to talk to you as a writer. And yes, the invitation was addressed to me personally. But after doing intensive research in the field of the new frontiers of AI, after talking with a lot of scientists and experts, I am not that sure anymore if artificial intelligence wouldn't be able to give you exactly the same speech. The same speech with much less preparation time and in a much more convincing English. Some weeks ago, an astonishing article appeared in the New Yorker. The New Yorker is still the center of the globalized intellectual and stylistic avant-garde. The headline of this article was, "Could a machine write an article for the New Yorker?" And the answer was, to my total bewilderment, yes, soon. The author, John Seabrook, is confessing Google Smart Compose is not only able to compose smarter than myself, the creepy thing is that the machine was even more thoughtful than me. After reading this witty article, I ask myself again, could there be a certain point of time in the future when the machine will not need me anymore? When I was talking to Jürgen Schmidhuber, one of the heroes of the artificial intelligence, and told him that I cannot imagine ever a machine that will be able to reproduce the very strange jumps, the volatile thinking, the necessary mistakes, the unlogical logic of the process of artistic creativity. Unfortunately, Mr. Schmidhuber just smiled at me. And he said, well, I have invented the power play algorithm to convince artists like you. It is a general problem solver machine, and the learning is based on the mechanics of human creativity. A general problem solver machine. Wow. I didn't feel that secure anymore from this moment on. In the spring of this year, the Californian company OpenAI announced that the release of their version of a text generator called GPT-2 will be delayed. Why? The CTO of Greg Brockman of the company told the press the machine they had built was too perfect. And it's too dangerous to bring it to the public because they have to teach the machine to love humanity. I don't know what it means to the humanity that only tonight OpenAI has released this text generator, GPT-2. You can go home and test it out for yourself tonight, how dangerous it is. After acknowledging the status quo of artificial intelligence on the 7th of November of 2019, that I had to realize that most of what I thought of being the magic process of human creativity is a simple brain interaction that is largely understood by scientists and that can be reproduced by machines, and that there's not that much left to the mystery of the soul and the human creativity if you can exactly analyze what happens in your brain during the process of thinking or writing. So, in the end, I finally started to think about artificial intelligence in a romantic way. Shouldn't we just be curious and desperately waiting for the first books written by Smart Compose and the GPT-2? Perhaps the machines could add something which is beyond our own boundaries. Perhaps the machines will make us laugh, or they will enable us to dig deeper into our early memories, deeper than our therapists. Perhaps they will provide us executive summaries of nightmares of the night before. So perhaps the technology will reshape our mind. But of course, there are a lot of interesting questions. Will there be male and female machines? And will the perfect unisex machines be able to write bad books? And do machines doubt and suffer while writing books? And whom will they consult if they have a writer's block? Perhaps experienced humans like me? How would the machines be paid? Probably only if they produce a bestseller. But will the computers realize that they make me and thousands of other writers unemployed? Do they need literary agents? Would it make sense anymore to organize a Frankfurt book fair or have all the machines met before at their server farms in California? So, what will be the role of the human in the future? In the long run, it sounds a little bit boring just to be the audience for the machines and their products. But I have to confess today, I'm just curious indeed to read what the AIs will publish very soon. Perhaps the machines will be much smarter than us, so it would be stupid not to let them go to work. I am very grateful again that Q Conference this time still invited me personally to speak to you. Next time, I will send my MacBook instead. Probably you will have much more fun. Thank you very much.